Alright, I'm gonna try to make this shorter than I did the other video. I was talking about Stephen King and about his wife Tabitha King and one of his sons, Joe Hill. And the ironic thing of buying, well, I knew Tabitha King was his wife, but I had no idea that Joe Hill was Stephen King's son, one of his sons. And I had bought basically quite a few of his books, at least 3 of his books. I think there's some more, but I haven't bought books at a bookstore in a little bit, so my source of books have been coming from basically the dollar store due to my budget. But anyway, this is a book by Tabitha King, and I read it a long time ago. It's with co-authored with Michael McDowell. It's called Candles Burning, and this one is Joe Hill, Horns. Very interesting book. I mean, a very great concept I had never seen before. I really enjoyed this book. Wow, I liked it. This one is a heart-shaped box by Joe Hill, and this one right here is 20th, I don't know if you can see it, 20th Century Ghosts. I believe it's a collection of stories. I haven't read these books. Yeah, this is a collection of short stories in here. Great author. Yeah. So if you're looking for something like this, books like this, these are great reads if you haven't already read them. I highly recommend Joe Hill. I think he has another book or books out. I cannot think of what the names are. They are. But anyway, these are really great. The concepts that he comes up are very fresh. I've never came across anything quite like it. I'm trying to see and read something to you. Okay, let's read this one from Joe Hill, Heart-Shaped Box. For $1,000, Jude will become the proud owner of a dead man's suit said to be haunted by a restless spirit. He isn't afraid. He has spent a lifetime coping with ghosts of an abusive father, of the lovers he callously abandoned, of the bandmates he betrayed. What's one more? But what about UPS delivers to his door in a black heart-shaped box is no imaginary or metaphorical ghost, no benign conversation piece. It's the real thing. And suddenly the suit's previous owner is everywhere, behind the bedroom door, seated in Jude's restored vintage Mustang, standing outside his window and staring out from his widescreen TV, waiting with a gleaming razor blade on a chain dangling from one bony hand. Wow, a ghost in a box. Look at that. Horns is even more unique. At first, Ig thought the horns were a hallucination, the product of a mind damaged by rage and grief. He had spent the last year in a lonely private purgatory following the death of his beloved Marion Williams, who was raped and murdered under inexplicable circumstances. A mental breakdown would have been the most natural thing in the world, but there was nothing natural about the horns, which were all too real. A man who sprouted horns. There you go. This is not for the meek, horror, science fiction, the paranormal. But Joe Hill writes the same, I can't describe it, it's like a sense of humor that his father also writes. He is a master in his own right. I think that's the last thing people want, children to be compared to their parents. But there is like a sense of humor that even Stephen King, anyone who's read his books or even seen his movies, can comment on. It's like I can't even put into words. But yeah, that is Tabitha King and Joe Hill. Stephen King is one of Stephen King's sons, and they're great reads.